Now let's see R arrays. What are the R arrays? Whenever we create the R arrays, it will store the data into the form of matrices, rows and columns. We can use these arrays with a matrix level where we can have the row index and the column index to access this matrix element. R arrays are the data objects which can store data in more than 2 dimensions. Means we are having the rows and the columns here. How to create the R array? We have to just write the array function. And inside the array function here, I have to pass the data and the dimensions. So here just I have to write the array here. Here I have to pass the data and here I have to pass the dimensions. In the dimensions, I have to pass the row size and the column size which I want to create. And in the last, I can just put the dimension name. So let's see how to create the arrays now. So one can see this is one of the arrays. So here we can create. First of all, if you want to see here that what are the arrays here, so one can just give it here help array. One is receiving the array here. So this one is there. Okay, and one can run it here. See, it will start showing you the arrays here. Okay, arrays here. So it is just showing you, it will create the test of arrays where we can write the data, the dimension and the dimension names. So how to create the array? Whenever we are creating the array, we have to write the vectors. Okay, what vector? So here I am just writing the vector here and we have to pass these vectors inside the array. And also we have to pass out the dimensions, that how many total number of rows and columns we are requiring to create the array. So here suppose one vector is this one and this one is the second vector we had created. Now into the array function, I have to pass on these two vector names. That one is a vector 1 and vector 2. And then I have to pass the dimension as well. This is the same dimension which is given here. Inside this dimension, I have to give that what is the total number of rows and columns. So inside the dimension, the first parameter depends the rows and the second parameter is just reflecting the columns. So here we are saying 3 rows and 3 columns. 3 rows, 3 columns I need. So with the array will be created into the matrix formats, just like with the 3 rows, 3 columns. So here if I'm running the same one here, so one can see array is created with the 3 rows, 3 columns because dimensions are settled accordingly. So one has to settle down those dimensions here, which are a factor of all these arrays. So one can see here 3 and 6. So total are 9. So if we are saying 3 rows, 3 columns, so if it's 3 into 3 is 9 here. So it means whenever we are selecting the rows and column here, so that should be the factor of total number of elements inside the array. So here right now, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 rows and 3 columns. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 columns are present here accordingly to the dimension. Okay. Now here, suppose I want to put the label because right now if I see here, there is no label here. Only simple 1, 2, 3 by default index is coming. So how I can do that? Simply while making the array, there is a dim names, dimension names I can provide it here. That is also one of the parameter. One can see array, the data I can provide it here, dimension, and the third one is the dimension names I can provide it. So what I can do, I can give the names of the rows and column here. So here while creating the array, I'm passing it here, the column names as well. So suppose here, currently I'm getting only 1, 2, 3. I want to change it with a column 1, column 2, column 3, row 1, row 2, row 3. So here I can just specify the two vector with the column dot names. Here I'm just providing the column names and here row names. Okay. Now these column names and row names are moved into the dimensions. So here what we can do, we can pass on these two vectors here. Dimensions will remain same, but what will come into the dimension name here? While creating the dimension name, I have to give here that what are the names of the rows and columns. So here simply I'm just giving dimension name is equal to make a list of what? Row names and column names. So row names are these row names that will move here and column names are these will move here. Okay. So once we have given the row names and the column names here, then automatically it will just, if I'm running it here, that will take the row names and the dimension names. So one can see it here. Here, see the differences. Earlier it was this one, just with the indexing name here. But now it has been transformed with the column names. One can see column 1, column 2, column 3, row 1, row 2, and row 3. So in this way, it will start coming here. Okay. So we can provide directly dimension name. Inside the dimension name here, we can just provide the row names and the column names, which row name I want to give and which other column names. If I want to change certain row names with other names, you can change it and you can have this try, please.